No one believed they could win. A small army stood on open land, facing the most powerful empire the world had ever known. They were outnumbered, outtrained, outarmed. Everyone expected them to fall in a single day. But instead, they did something no one thought possible. They attacked first, and in doing so, they changed the course of history forever. The year was 490 BCE. The place was Marathon, a wide coastal plain near the city of Athens in ancient Greece. At this time, the Persian Empire was massive. It stretched across 3 continents. Its armies had crushed cities, kingdoms, and entire civilizations. Where Persian soldiers marched, resistance usually ended quickly. Athens, by comparison, was small. It had no empire, no massive wealth, no endless supply of soldiers. What it did have was something rare, a new idea, a belief that free citizens could govern themselves and fight for their own land. When Persia decided to punish Athens for supporting a rebellion years earlier, the outcome seemed obvious. The empire sent a powerful invasion force across the sea. Their goal was simple: destroy Athens and remind the world that resistance was useless. On the map, the Persian fleet moves westward across the Aegean Sea. Hundreds of ships carry soldiers, horses, weapons, and supplies. They land on the flat plains of Marathon, the perfect place for a large army to fight. The Persians line up confidently. Their numbers are overwhelming. Rows of professional soldiers, cavalry units, archers trained from childhood. Across the plain, the Greek army gathers. They are mostly farmers, craftsmen, and citizens. They bring heavy shields, spears, and courage, but far fewer men. On the map, you see the Greek forces hesitate. They wait for days. Behind them is Athens. If they retreat, the city will fall. The Persian commanders expect the Greeks to hide behind walls or surrender. They do not expect an attack. Then something unusual happens. The Greek commanders make a bold decision. They stretch their line, thinning their center and strengthening their wings. On the map, the Greek formation looks fragile, but it is intentional. At dawn, instead of retreating, the Greeks advance. They do not walk, they run. Across open ground, under a storm of arrows, the smaller army charges forward. The Persians are stunned. This is not how smaller armies behave. The Greek center bends under pressure, exactly as planned. On the map, you see the Persian forces push inward. They think victory is near, but on the wings, the Greeks break through. Their stronger sides crush the Persian flanks. Then they turn inward. The Persian center is suddenly surrounded. What looked like weakness becomes a trap. On the animated map, the Persian formation collapses. Confusion spreads, commands fail, units lose direction. The Greeks press forward with discipline and speed. Their heavy shields protect them in close combat. Their spears dominate the narrow fighting space. The Persian cavalry, which should have been decisive, is unable to respond in time. Some units are absent. Others cannot maneuver effectively on the crowded field. As panic spreads, Persian soldiers retreat toward their ships. The retreat turns chaotic. Men fall into marshes. Ships are boarded in disorder. What began as an invasion ends as a desperate escape. On the map, the Persian arrows reverse direction, back toward the sea. Against all expectations, the smaller army stands victorious on the field. The impossible has happened. The battlefield falls silent. The cost is heavy, but the result is undeniable. The Persian Empire has been defeated, not destroyed, but shocked. For the first time, its army has been beaten in open battle by a much smaller force. Athens is saved. But the consequences reach far beyond one city. Word spreads across the Greek world. The empire can be resisted. Discipline, planning, and courage can defeat size and wealth. This victory gives Athens confidence. Confidence leads to growth. Growth leads to art, philosophy, science, and democracy. The ideas born and protected after this battle shape laws, governments, and societies thousands of years later. Had the small army failed that day, history would look very different. This story is not just about soldiers and empires. It is about strategy over strength, courage over fear, and belief over numbers. Again and again in history, and in life, the smaller side wins, not by being stronger, but by being smarter. The lesson is simple but powerful. You do not need to be the biggest. You do not need to be the richest. You only need the courage to stand, and the wisdom to choose how you fight. That day at Marathon, a small army did not just defeat a giant empire. They proved that history is not written by size alone, but by those brave enough to act when everyone else expects them to fall.